What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the 10-7 MMA podcast. I'm DS, and today we're going to be covering the crazy, well, most of the card was whatever, but the crazy main event and the rest of the card at UFC 284. And of course, as always, I'm here with my main man, Dino Bam Bam.
What's going on, Dino? Thank you guys for tuning in yet again. And as always, if you can please like and subscribe, we would really appreciate that. And follow us on Instagram at the 10-7 MMA. We actually got a new follower, a pretty cool guy.
You guys might know him.
Friend of the show? Is that what they say? Friend of the show?
Minimum,
yeah,
at least.
The one and only, in my opinion, still the 205 champion, Yair Rodriguez. So if Yair could do it. Yeah,
if it's good enough for Yair, then it's good enough for you, I imagine.
Right.
So just like and subscribe, and we'll keep improving. We'll keep doing our thing. By the way, shout out Dino Bam Bam for the sick new intro that we got.
I'm trying, guys. I'm just learning all this editing stuff. It's a first attempt.
We're innovating.
Hopefully it's gonna get better, you know?
We're innovating. We're captivating.
All that.
All the ings, we're doing them.
We're doing every ing. And then also another thing that we're doing, we do have some news. We can't leak it quite yet, but we got some big things.
Our legal team said not to leak the news yet.
I'm just saying.
But may or may not be some fun people joining the podcast at some point soon. Yeah. We'll keep you guys posted on that. In the meantime, let's just jump right into the card. Yeah. UFC 284 this past weekend. Yeah, what are your thoughts, my friend? I mean, obviously, we'll talk about the main event actually in a separate video because there's a lot to be said there. The rest of the card, overall thoughts, my friend?
It was decent. The prelims, the early prelims were nothing to like write home about. They were okay. The prelims themselves were all right, I guess, as well. The main card definitely, you know, the drama kind of picked up towards the end there. Overall, like a 6, 7 out of 10 card. It was fine.
And that's including this main event.
Yeah, but that main event was like, that felt huge, huh? That kind of.
It was one of those where no matter who you want to win, you got like something going on in your stomach.
Exactly.
It's like
you got like the butterflies. They were hitting the Connor chants. They were doing the Olay chants right at the beginning. That crowd was incredible. Yeah, the crowd was awesome. They definitely picked up as the card went on, sort of like the card itself. But
yeah, I mean, you got to give the people something to cheer for.
Yeah, shout out Perth, Australia. They really held it down.
It seems that anytime we go. Well, maybe not in the Arab world, but
Brazil, which was disappointing,
which was very disappointing. Aside from that, though, if you go to Europe, if you go to Australia, they turn up, man.
They're holding it down, man.
It's a different vibe for sure.
I don't want to put down the American fans either, but
no, I mean like, you know what you're going to get
down over here too, though.
Also, it varies, you know, like your Philadelphia crowd's not the same as your Vegas crowd, like, not the same as your Chicago crowd,
Miami, whatever. Yeah, I agree.
Cool, man. Let's jump right into it. Yeah, I think there ended up being, what, 11 fights?
I think it was a little more.
No, 13. 13 fights. Yeah. First fight of the night was Elvis Brenner versus Zubaira Tukhugov.
Yep.
They gave the split decision to Elvis Brenner. Upon initially watching this, I don't know, I guess maybe it was my like preconceived notions of like, I had Tukhugov winning. I think you did too.
Yes.
I mean, you would think he would win. He has UFC experience. He's got a neck beard. You know, he's got a lot of the prerequisites, I would say. Yeah, but, man, just not enough output. You know, just really left a lot to be desired. I was kind of disappointed watching him. You know, what do you think?
I mean, when we were doing the breakdown of this card, I said he was around that top 20 UFC lightweight level. And, yeah, he definitely, I guess he proved not to be that. Shout out Elvis Brenner. I know we were texting as soon as the fight ended.
Yeah.
I gave rounds 1 and 3 to Brenner, and you were like a little bit busy, but you were watching. You were saying it was close. Upon your rewatch,
I thought. I mean, upon the rewatch, I get why they gave it to Elvis Brenner. Kept him on the back foot more.
Yeah.
You know, pushed the pace a little bit more. Was landing some decent shots. Yeah, I mean, again, you know, I'm not saying he has to prove more as Zubaira does, but. I just wanted to see more. I expected to see more.
Yeah.
Also, I'm not gonna lie, man. I eat my words on this one. Elvis Brenner, I thought was like a complete can. I know he came from Shoto, but
Shoot the Box.
Yeah, Shoot the Box.
Which, by the way, that's becoming a huge rivalry now, huh? These Shoot the Box guys versus the Habib guys.
Yeah, it is.
It's just like it seems like every other card, you got some random young Brazilian kid, some random young Dagestani.
Well, those are like the two.
Right, but I mean, like
you're gonna get those.
You're getting it every other week. It feels like.
Yeah, I thought he was a complete can. I was wrong. Zubaira Tukhugov, lazy performance for me. I mean, what else is there to be said?
I don't want to, really quickly, I don't want to waste too much time on this. Obviously, we're going to move forward, but I do need to say, Dino, I was texting you about this as the card started, and I'm not one to complain about the UFC commentary teams. And I know on a previous episode you had mentioned Bisping being terrible.
He's not good, dude.
And I just kind of like let it go. But like, man, it was very, very brutal in this fight. And we complained about Daniel Cormier being biased. Dominic Cruz was bad, which is not typical of him.
But he's boring as shit too, man.
Like they sat there, and if you were just listening to that fight and weren't watching the fight, you would think that Zubo was up 30-24.
I think they got me with that because I wasn't like 100% like zoned in, focused watching that either. Yeah. So I think that really swayed me too.
It was disgusting, and I'll tell you another thing. Michael Bisping always talks about, you know, when you're calling a fight, we can't score the fights.
He does it every time.
And he does it
every fight.
He was so upset at this decision. It's like, dude, do your job, relax, call the fights, and let's move forward. 2 fights later, I texted you and told you that I had to mute it. I had a headache.
You did, yeah.
And I guess I do get flustered. As you've known me for a long time, I get flustered by stuff, but that really bothered me.
Yeah, it bothered you more than it did me this time, but it was not good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good job, Elvis.
As far as, looking forward, I don't know. I still don't, Elvis Brenner, I don't think he's going to be anything crazy in the division, but good for him. He can definitely build on this. Zubaira Tukhugov, I thought, like you said, he could be a top 20 kind of guy. Man, I just think if that's how he's going to fight, then that's the energy that he's going to come out with. Yeah. I don't think he's anything special. So, moving on, fight number 2 on the night. Blake Builder, my boy, that's right. Yeah, there was what was it, MMA Junkie, or what page was it on Instagram?
Yeah, I think it was
MMA Junkie, I think, posted something about Shane Young like a day before the fight and like gassing him up. And I responded, I'm like, that's cool. Blake Builder's gonna piece him up. And then Blake Builder actually went and liked my comment. It's the only like on my comment. So and no responses or anything. But I had Blake Builder winning. He did end up winning. Yeah. I mean, just landed the better shots. Dude, these guys looked like really tired, like really tired by like round 3 or maybe halfway through round 2.
Yeah.
They looked exhausted, and I feel like that's not typical of a Shane Young performance that I've seen in the past. And in the second round, Shane Young was getting off some good punches on him too. I like Blake Builder, man. I like the energy that he comes with. He would you say he won this fight with his grappling?
Yeah, I mean, again, we were texting about that because that was another sort of iffy decision according to the commentary team. I gave again the first and third rounds to Blake Builder, so I think he did enough to win that. Yeah. But the commentary was on about their business, doing their typical BS thing, and they seemed like the way they were breaking it down was there was no way that Shane Young was losing that fight. I think he did.
Yeah, I think that was the right decision too. So, anything else on that one?
No, just that the first fight we both missed on. This fight we both got. This was not my personal best at picking fights. I did pretty bad this week. Just throw that in there.
Yeah, I didn't do great either.
Yeah.
Didn't do great. I mean, still got more than half of them, obviously. Right. But that's not saying much with a lot of decent favorites on the card too. In any case, moving on, the third fight of the card was Loma Lookboonmee versus Elise Reed. I think we both had Loma on this one. Yeah. I'll let you go first on this one, too.
Sure. As far as Loma versus Reed was concerned, it was a solid fight. It was kind of what we expected. That first round was, we knew they were going to strike. Yeah. We knew they were going to stand and strike. The first round was really close. It was a very close round. I don't know which way they were going to go with that fight.
At the end of the round, Elise Reed.
Yeah, that's what I thought, too.
Coming on hot, yeah.
I thought it was Reed's round. And then,
you did? You thought round 1 was Reed?
Yeah, but it was very close. Okay. And
I still think I would have given it to Loma.
Yeah.
But I get it, especially because it's at the end of the round, too.
Yeah, and I didn't rewatch it. There was no need to. It was a very close first round. And then, of course, in that second round, Elise Reed makes a little mistake, pays the price for it. And gets subbed out early.
She cinched that rear naked choke in quickly. I did not see it ending via choke. Personally, I thought probably it'd go to decision if anything. I did kind of want to see them fight a little bit more. I thought it was good.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was trending to be a decent fight. I like Loma Lookboonmee, man. I really do. I think her Thai boxing is obviously, some of the best in the division. Dare I say?
It was very clean.
Very technical, very crisp. It's nice to see that she has some skills on the ground too. Yeah, I think she throws with legit power and speed. Elise Reed, I mean, I still, I know her record's not great. She's 6-3, but I don't think she's bad. I think she's got some hands, and
I stick by, Dino, what we saw when we were watching the Elise Reed film. She is actually really good, man.
She's got good striking, but she seems very raw still.
Yes.
Yeah.
And at 30, that's probably not a great thing.
No, it's not, but
she's cool.
In these divisions, I wouldn't completely count her out. I am excited to see what Loma Lookboonmee can do at this point.
Yeah.
Where is she, do you think, as far as the rankings stand in the division?
What's her winning streak looking like right now? She, in 2022, she beat Denise Gomes.
She lost to Lupita in a decently competitive fight.
Yeah, and Lupi's pretty high up there. And she's got to be looking at somebody at around 15. If this next fight isn't in the rankings, the next one after that has to be in the rankings. So she's probably right outside the rankings.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see her going forward. I think she's got some legit skills.
Yep.
So moving on, the fourth fight of the night. And I had a lot of fun watching this one. It was Jack Jenkins versus Don Shainis.
Yeah. Very
interesting. Kind of went exactly as I predicted it on this one. I mean, I said he's got really nice leg kicks. He brutalized his leg with the leg kicks. I think he probably could have just kept doing that, to be honest. But I'm glad he didn't. I guess you get to see a little bit more of his skills. What did I say, too? I said that I hope that he doesn't go too much to his wrestling because he's got what did I say? Top 20 in the division boxing skills.
So you said like he was the best in the world. I think you said he was like Floyd Mayweather.
I didn't say all that, but I don't know. His boxing is super crisp and technical.
Yeah,
it's really good. For what it's worth, too, Don Shainis, a lot of heart. Stayed in that fight. It was a competitive fight.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a crazy entertaining fight either.
No. The crowd loved it.
The crowd loved it because Jack Jenkins got the mullet, he's got the stash.
He looks Australian.
He looks hella
Australian. Very Australian.
Yeah, I mean, I understand why people would like him.
Yeah.
And I like him too. We'll see. Again, I hope that he continues to trust his hands more.
Yeah.
And I feel like he wants to wrestle, like he really wants to.
And he did. He ended up going to.
I know, but I don't think he needed to do that.
Yeah. I mean, it was what we thought, right? You said Shainis was going to take it in his anus, I think, was what you said. He didn't. Here's the thing with Jack Jenkins. He didn't dominate the way...
Did I say that?
Yes.
Yeah, I did.
Jack Jenkins didn't really, dominate the way that I know or that I assume he's capable of dominating.
Yeah.
And he looked like... There was definitely times in the fight where Don Shainis was kind of getting the better of him.
For sure.
And... Now, my thing is, I just wonder how good is Jack Jenkins. Yeah. I want to see him definitely take that step up, which obviously the UFC is going to do here. They're going to give him a step up in competition. And I want to see, can he handle those guys? I said in the prediction video that I was picking Jenkins, but I wasn't too confident in him as a fighter in general. Not much has changed. It was kind of what I thought was going to happen in this fight. I want to see him take on a guy a little higher up and see what he could do with a UFC veteran.
What kind of guy? Somebody come to mind?
No, nobody's coming to mind right now, but, if you gave me some time, I'm sure I could find somebody. Just somebody not making their UFC debut, somebody not in their first or second fight. Give me a veteran with, 4 or 5 fights in the UFC, and then, we could see what he's about. I just want to see if he's real or not.
Yeah,
and that's basically it.
Yep. I think as he continues to evolve as a fighter, I like the base that he has.
Yeah.
So, but we'll see. Actually, and talking about level of competition.
Yeah.
The next fight on the card was Jamie Mullarkey versus Francisco Prado.
My boy.
Very interesting, right? Yeah. I mean, I'll let you take this one.
Sure.
Obviously Jamie Mullarkey won by unanimous decision.
Yeah.
Kind of handled him pretty comfortably, but your thoughts?
Here's kind of what bothered me, and I know I picked Prado as my boy, and I'm going to stick with that.
Yep.
I really like what the future holds for this kid, being so young and having so much power and being so talented. The thing was, man,
and that was his first loss.
It was his first career loss, first fight in the UFC versus a tough veteran in Jamie Mullarkey. The thing was, man, he was so gun shy. I wish he would have just let go of it a little more. I know that
it seemed like the moment got to him.
Yeah, but it's weird though, right? Because a lot of these kids, when they come in and they make their debut, a kid in this situation, which isn't many, nobody comes in at 20 years old, undefeated into the UFC.
Yep.
But when these young kids do come in with like high praise, they usually go balls to the wall. They're usually trying to go and hunt that finish.
Like a Terrence McKinney.
Or like Raul Rosas, right?
Yep.
Like he came in and he just went for it right away.
Yep.
So with Prado, man, he was gun shy. I wish he would have just let go a little bit more. Jamie did a great job with the wrestling in the first round to kind of like neutralize this kid's energy. And maybe that's what did it. Maybe Jamie Malarkey just, slowed him down, and then the moment may have gotten to him there.
I think he knew that if he was going to win that,
it
probably was most likely in the first round.
Right.
So then,
But then, hey, man, late in the third, being down 30-27, knowing he lost all 3 rounds, he had that Kimura, and it was that close.
It was close.
That was looking.
He was
nasty,
a little too low on the wrist.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that was not terribly far off from being cinched in.
Yep.
I want to ask you something.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like, I didn't really understand the logic. I don't understand UFC logic sometimes. Many times. Mm-hmm. But in this case, right, you have a guy like Francisco Prado. Okay, right. He's 20 years old. He's a handsome guy. He's got the look, right? Like, he's from a country that you don't have a massive following, which is a plus for the UFC, of course, right? Sure. Why give him Jamie Malarkey?
I believe...
Why give him a guy like that off the bat?
Yeah.
And then you got, like, somebody like I don't understand the concept of, like, some prospects, they come in and they give them a few cans and, like, build up their confidence. And I kind of like that route, right? Where it's like, I don't want to see this guy get finished or knocked out.
No,
like, if he's going to be something legit, especially if he's 20 years old. I'm not saying don't fight the best competition. Absolutely do that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, why? Okay, Paddy the Baddy is still fighting. Not cans, but, like...
You're right.
He's like look at the progression ladder of Paddy the Baddy, who was a champion.
Yeah.
In Cage
Warriors.
Cage Warriors. Yep. Thank you. That's a big promotion.
Yeah.
I mean, all things considered.
Yeah.
So you have a guy like that with a huge following. I guess that's probably why, right? It's like he has such a huge following already.
They want to
let's keep this following with us, right? But it's like, but you still have this prospect. Like, let him fight a little bit lower than this.
So
Jamie Malarkey's legit, man. He's 16-5.
Yeah.
He's fought some very good UFC competition. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, it's fine. Like, I get it, and good on the kid for taking the fight and testing himself.
I think it was a short notice replacement, though.
It was, I think, yeah.
But yes, I get where you're coming from when they do that. It's they play favoritism, but we know that.
Yeah,
we know that that's kind of how the game works. I hope for this kid's sake that the next fight they either give him somebody really old on the way out, or they give him somebody 23.
Do you think they keep him at this level of competition, like like a slight drop, or you think like it's one of those where it's like you did the UFC a favor to some degree, you stepped in, we'll give you let's get you a win.
Yes, that's what's going to happen.
And that's fine.
They give him a nice step back, like a comfortable, a good step back.
Yep.
He's not getting somebody near Jamie Malarkey, who's probably 2 fights away from the rankings. 2 or 3, maybe. I mean,
I would say if he gets 2 more fights in a row and wins, especially because it's going to be a step up in competition, of course. I think Jamie Malarkey is well on his way. I mean, he had a stumble down the rankings, lost a couple fights in a row, and then now has put together a little winning streak. Right? This is what, 2 in a row, 3 in a row for Jamie Malarkey.
Let's check it out.
2 in a row for Jamie Malarkey. Mm-hmm. His last win being against Michael Johnson in 2022.
Solid win.
Not bad. I mean, and his only loss in his last... He won 4 of his last 5. In that time span, the loss is to Jalen Turner.
Right. And we've talked about a lot.
We've covered it. And, yeah, I mean, is he ever going to be a champion?
No.
No, he's not going to be. But he's a very respectable fighter. Good for Jamie Malarkey.
Yes, sir.
So, in any case, moving on up the card... the 6th fight of the night was Clayton Rodriguez versus Shannon Ross.
Yeah.
Give me your thoughts.
Yeah, we both picked Clayton Rodriguez. We both said that Shannon Ross, we don't think belongs in the UFC. Nothing told us different here. Head kick knockout for Clayton Rodriguez here in the 59th second, so under 1 minute.
Yep.
I mean, he proved what we already knew, right? He's a young prospect. The UFC wants to push this kid.
Look at that difference.
Right, that's the difference.
But and this guy's older.
Yeah,
and he's fought better competition. He's already had a UFC fight, right? Or
no, Shannon has not.
No, not Shannon.
Clayton, the CJ Vergara.
Yeah, and it was a split decision. I guess it could have gone either way, and that was a good fight. And CJ Vergara is a okay fighter. You know,
I mean, the only thing to talk about here is Clayton Rodriguez. There's nothing to talk about Shannon Ross. Clayton Rodriguez, what did you see, I guess, in the 59 seconds of that fight? Do you think this kid is the real deal? Do you think moving forward, this is a guy that can crack the rankings? How high does he get?
Man, yeah, I think well, first of all, we haven't seen anything. Well, we've seen a little bit of him on the ground.
Yeah.
What happens when you get in there with a wrestler, though, right?
Yeah.
What happens when you get in there with a guy from the Caucasus region, right?
Yeah.
And he wants to, wrestle bang you for 3 rounds. Can you fight that off? I do think that he's legit, man. He's got serious power, very good speed. He's wild explosive. I think he can make some noise, man. I think he can, honestly. He's 8-2. Yeah, I don't see why not. And obviously, he's like Michel Pereira light, basically. Yeah. Like, he
Diet Michel Pereira.
Yeah, he throws, just insane stuff. So, yeah, man, why not? I'm excited. Anytime you watch a fighter like that, just purely, like, if you're not even an MMA fan, you see somebody doing some shit like that, you're like, oh, this guy's, I'm down to see this guy.
Yeah, no, he's fun, man. He's fun.
All right, moving on to the 7th fight on the card.
Yeah.
It was Joshua Kulibao versus Melsik Baghdasaryan.
A gun.
Yeah.
Was this not exactly the Elise Wright or the Elise Reed Loma Lookbanmi fight, but in bigger guys?
Literally.
It was the exact same fight. It was copy paste.
And it was like the lighter skinned guy,
right?
Or the lighter skinned gal or guy that that ended up losing and in a rear naked choke,
right?
In the
An Asian fighter, a white fighter, same exact thing. Second round slip up. From the person that was winning. And then they get choked out.
Yeah. So you thought Melsik was winning?
I thought Melsik edged out that first round, but I mean, Kulibao
I thought
was
so
looking
too.
good.
I thought it was pretty close.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know, man. I like Melsik. I want him to be good, if that makes sense. Kulibao, I feel like I don't know why I feel this way. I guess just from watching a lot of film on them. I guess I just preferred Melsik to win because I think he's got the bigger potential. Yeah. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think so too.
But good on Kulibao. I mean,
he's 11-1 now, man.
He wrapped that thing up quick.
Very. Pause, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, what else is there to say? And I think it was pretty close on the feet too.
Yeah, it was. But I'm telling you, it was just like the Elise Reed Loma fight. Yep. It was identical to me.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. Literally.
I think the person who lost edged out the first round. Great striking exchanges from both guys. They both showed that they're in the UFC for a reason. And then with Kulibao, like you said, wrapped it up pretty quickly. It was shockingly fast. Yeah. It was shockingly fast for a guy that's not known as a submission dude.
No, every other...
But yeah.
The, 5 fights of his that I've watched, he is always down to bang. Yep. And I guess that was... I kind of expected this to be, the best fight of the night on paper.
And it might have been had it played out for 3 rounds.
Maybe. It wasn't bad in the first round. Yeah. But, yeah. I don't know. What do you think? Joshua Kulibao, do you think he can be something in this division? Man, you think Melsik can, he's obviously not an old guy, but what do you think?
I mean, as far as Kulibao's concerned, I think he has the power to hang with anybody at 145, right? So, and the stand-up skills are awesome. I really do like the way he fights. But, man, 145... We always talk about 135 bantamweight being the premier division right now in the UFC. Yep. And then, kind of people that aren't really, really in the know think it's 155, which is still phenomenal, as we saw in the main event.
They just cycle the same, five guys up there.
Right, but it's still a great division.
It's a great division.
145 is underrated, man. I think it's a really good division.
It is.
How far can Kulibao go? Can he hit the rankings? I think he's a guy that we could see towards the bottom of those rankings at some point. Melsik Baghdasaryan, same kind of thing. I do think maybe the ceiling's a little bit higher for him, just a little bit. Yeah. But these aren't guys that we're going to see fighting for a title, but these are dudes that I think we can see in that 12, 13 range at the 145
So you think they're well matched then? You think they're about...
I think it was awesome matchmaking. This fight, I mean, Melsik Baghdasaryan comes in with a little bit of a higher pedigree when it comes to the striking, right?
Even though he's had less fights in his career.
Right, but that's, due to kickboxing and boxing and all that. I think he was a K1 champ.
He was.
So, that means a lot.
Yeah, no, his kickboxing's really good.
These are guys.
I think he needs to work on it. You know, his ground defense, obviously. Yeah. I mean, without saying, but yeah.
Yep.
Moving on to another fight on the card. This was Modestas Bukauskas versus Tyson Pedro.
Surprise of the night for me here, man. Besides the Volk fight, I guess.
Yeah. But when we broke it down, I was telling you I'm not a big Tyson Pedro fan.
Yeah.
I think he's been like preserved for whatever reason. I know he had some injuries. He looked pretty good his last 2 fights.
Yep.
What a disappointment.
Yeah, I mean,
what a disappointment. Dude looked exhausted after the first round. Just way less pop on his shots after that.
Yeah.
Looked sloppy, man. I don't know. Just did not look great to me, honestly. Modestas Bukauskas was throwing some crazy shit in the beginning, which was insane to me. I did not realize that's what he's about like that.
Right.
But, yeah. I don't think Tyson Pedro is very good. Modestas Bukauskas, very impressive that he had his leg shredded to bits and fought twice in like a 2-month span.
Yeah. And
quickly came back into the UFC and then now took out a highly touted, I don't know if you want to call him a prospect anymore, but a highly touted fighter in Tyson Pedro. Man, I like his skill set.
Yeah, he's very clean.
He's clean. You know, I think he can win in multiple ways. I'd like to see what he can do, man. I'd like to see what he can do in the division. Yeah, what do you think?
When we were doing the other video, the preview, I guess, for this card, we were talking about Modestas Bukauskas. I believe he's like a Taekwondo champion or karate champion or something like that of England. He was a national champ. Tyson Pedro, the thing with him is we're blinded by the light, right? Like the last 2 fights before this, I hate to call UFC heavyweights or light heavyweights cans, but he beat 2 guys really quickly in the first round. I think it was Hunsucker and who was the other one?
Ike Villanueva, who was on his way out. You know, older guy. So it's like, yeah, he knocked those guys out pretty quick. He swarmed them, but a guy like Bukauskas has the ability to, you know, stay away from that for a little bit, right? Yep.
And he looked great in his previous Cage Warriors fight. And, man, he looked awesome in this fight. I thought it was going to be a quick knockout for Tyson Pedro.
Yep.
But I knew that if the fight did get to the second and third, that Modestas Bukauskas would kind of start to gain the upper hand here. But, man, he pretty decisively just dominated him and showed that he was the better fighter.
Yep.
I guess with Tyson Pedro, it's stay away from that power for 5 minutes and you're good to go.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, easily won the decision. Yeah, disappointing, man. I don't even really know what to say. Like, are you going to build up your cardio a crazy amount at this point of your career? Probably not. You know?
Yeah.
Kind of disappointing. Anyways, moving on to another fight on the card. This was Jimmy Crute versus Alonzo Menifield.
Main card pay-per-view opener.
Main card opener. Your thoughts?
I mean, I thought that Alonzo Menifield, I wish he had the cardio to continue doing what he was doing early in that fight. Because he had, I feel like, okay, let me go back for a second. I feel like most 205ers being put in the position that Alonzo Menifield was in, it's hard to get there. It's hard to rock Jimmy Crute and hurt him and whatever. Yep. I feel like the rest of the roster would have finished Jimmy Crute there.
Because you think his
he ran out,
so bad, yeah.
His gas ran out. Like Jimmy Crute was on wobbly legs. Jimmy Crute was rocked multiple times.
Mm-hmm. I think you could say the same thing about Jimmy Crute.
Yeah,
in the third round. Though.
Yeah, I mean he had no cardio left, but it's hard for me to blame Jimmy Crute because he'd been cracked so many times.
Yeah, yep.
He had been hurt so many times. He was on wobbly legs.
On a wrestling clinic.
It didn't make sense to me, man. I just wish Alonzo Menifield would have kind of... And Pat Barry was doing... You know, kudos to Pat Barry. He was doing the right thing because in the last time we saw Pat Barry with Thug Rose at the pay-per-view with Oliver and Gaethje, he was giving some terrible advice. But I guess that's his wife compared to someone who's a friend of his or, someone that's paying him to do the job. He gave him some good advice. He said, go in there, put your hands on him, stop playing in the clinch. Alonzo Menifield, I guess, tried, but was not able to. They were talking about a rematch. I'm good. I don't want to see a rematch. I want them to go their separate ways.
Please don't rematch that. And,
Alonzo Menifield needs to win that fight, though. Like, he really needs to win that fight.
And the only reason that he ended up not winning is, didn't they take a point away?
Yeah.
For him grabbing the
Which was wild. I mean, like, I get it. Take the point. But, like, At the same time, it was the first time he had done anything.
I thought it was the second time.
I didn't see a warning, so I don't want to rewatch that fight, but I will if I need to.
Yeah, I thought maybe he did do it one other time.
Yeah,
but I mean, I guess it is I guess because it is a direct impact, it makes sense.
Right.
Like he held on, he was about to be taken down again.
I'm not so opposed to it.
Yeah,
the fact that the point got taken away, but
yeah, I want no parts of that. Basically, more than anything, this lowered my opinion of Jimmy Crute further.
Absolutely.
Alonzo Menifield, it didn't do anything for my opinion of him. He is who I thought he was.
Yeah.
Very powerful, explosive, jacked athlete. Yep. Terrible cardio. Not the most technical boxing, but man, he's got some heat.
Right.
You know.
I mean, and then you think about it, right? Like, if Jimmy Crute were to go up against a guy like William Knight, like, if you can't... and Alonzo Menifield is very powerful.
Yeah.
But so are a lot of these guys up there, right? Like, like William Knight puts him out. You know, if you start moving up a little higher, like a Kennedy Nzechukwu, I think, puts hands on him.
Yeah.
So I don't really like...
And these are taller fighters.
Well, William Knight's shorter.
Oh, William Knight
but
is, yeah. Kennedy, I mean.
But Kennedy's... I got to be taller than him. It's like, I don't like the future for Jimmy Crute, man.
Yeah.
I think his chin has been cracked. I think it's probably, you know, the downfall of Jimmy Crute, which we've been on for a while now. Yeah, he didn't look good, man, personally.
On the feet, he did not look good at all.
Yeah.
And again, Alonzo Menifield wins by sheer will and just fury a lot of times. You know, and you get clipped. You know, Jimmy Crute, not good on the feet. Really good wrestling. Yeah. I mean, I don't think he'll be anything. Alonzo Menifield, we know who he is, too.
Yeah.
Moving on, and this was a crazy knockout.
Yeah.
Justin Tafa versus ya boy Parker Porter.
Parker Porter, baby.
Knocked out in the
first round.
Minute of the first round.
106.
Yep.
106.
Absolutely caught him with a counter left.
Yeah.
Violent.
He said, "You reach, I teach."
That's right.
And that's, you know, it is what it is, man. There's not too much to talk about, right, Dino? With this fight, I mean, a minute in, we didn't get to see much.
No,
Porter was kind of being too aggressive for me, though. It's like, chill out, dude. Yeah. Chill out.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I mean, I'm not a Parker Porter fan by any means.
Yeah.
Who has Justin Tafa beat now? You know, it's Parker Porter and Harry Hunsucker. Are these great fighters?
No,
they're not. He also lost to Jared Vandera, and Carlos Felipe. You know, do with that what you will. There's just another fat, sloppy heavyweight, man.
And he has good power.
He's got good power, and if he catches you, he'll put you out.
Yeah.
And, you know, we've seen the story. We've seen the song and dance. You know, really, really good for Justin Tafa. It was a super impressive knockout. Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, Parker Porter, I mean, should he be in the UFC? Probably not at this point. He's 13-8. What do you think?
What are his last few fights? Let's see.
He lost to Justin Tafa. He lost to Jilton Almeida.
He beat Alan Badeau.
He beat male model Alan Badeau.
Anything before that?
He beat Chase Sherman.
Yeah.
He beat Josh Parisian.
Right, so he's beating the bottom.
He's beating the absolute cans of the cans.
Right, he's beating the bottom guys at heavyweight. He's losing to. He lost to Jalton Almeida, which again, you know, that can be thrown away.
Upswing.
Losing to Tafa doesn't look good for you.
No.
But yeah, I mean, here's the thing: should he be in the UFC? I think so. I think there's a place for these kind of heavyweights, guys that are getting on in years that are willing to fight pretty often.
Is bad, dude.
Right, but it's better than 6-3. Like, you know what I mean?
Is it?
The guy that just beat him was 5-3 going into this fight. So like, it's the same thing.
Listen, if you're big. And you're not that good enough at football, and you're like a strong, fast lineman or something. Yeah. Just try it out.
Yeah, you said that last time, and I agree with you. But yes, I think Parker Porter belongs here. I think it's fine. There's 50 cards a year, or not 50, but there's a lot of cards per year. There's these big dudes that got to fight each other. So yeah, I'm down. Let Parker Porter be in that rotation of the big guys with. Yeah, and let's get it.
Moving on to a very, very impressive performance. Jack Della Maddalena versus Randy Brown.
Yeah.
Man, Jack Della Maddalena is really good.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about it. If you guys didn't see the weigh-in show, Jack Della Maddalena was like, dude, it looked like he was seizing up. He was shivering. He was shaking. He looked terrible. I thought they were going to cancel the fight. I was certain he was going to faint.
Really bad, dude. And also, like, I hate that they had my boy Robert Whittaker on there, like asking him shit.
Right.
And this guy's dying, dude.
It looked like a bad look.
Strategy.
Yeah.
And he's like,
and and it was the same thing with Josh Emmett, who was like Skeletored out. Like,
oh my god,
it was bad. It was a bad look this week.
Josh Emmett looked so bad. How about this? I literally I was placing some parlay bets.
Yeah.
And I had Jack Della Maddalena by knockout the whole way through, which it wouldn't matter. He won by submission.
Right.
But I pulled like all the ones like that I could with Jack Della Maddalena winning after seeing that, because I'm like, dude, this guy's done for. Randy Brown looks pretty good right now. He looks he looks comfortable. He looks healthy. Jack Della Maddalena looks not okay.
Dude. He looked
like
that was
about
scary.
To pass out. Really impressive though.
As far as the fight's concerned,
the aggression. Man, he had Randy Brown looking silly in there.
Yeah.
Like, and then, I mean, you know, who saw him winning by submission? Not me, but.
Right, no.
You know, wow. Really impressive. I think he'll be ranked for sure very soon.
He is. So that's the thing, right? We were talking about, is Jack Della Maddalena who we think he is, who the UFC thinks he is, and this performance would tell you yes, because Randy Brown is a guy, to me, that's just outside the rankings. Maybe now Jack Della gets a top 15 guy. I think he earned that opportunity.
I think he has to. And I think he puts hands on a lot of the guys at the bottom.
I think so too, man. The thing with Randy Brown on the other side of this fight, the thing that bothered me with Randy Brown was he was kind of doing like that MVP kind of thing, man. It was like, chill out, dude. Like, why do you got to be so flashy? I understand he's been playing the heel the whole week. He was the bad guy.
I think that just kind of got in his head.
Yeah.
I think he bought into that too much.
He bought into the whole heel thing.
You don't do that against a crisp technical boxer like Jack Della Maddalena, who has some serious power. Too.
Yeah. Ended up clipping him.
Yeah.
Made him chicken dance, face plant.
Yep.
Cinched it up really quickly. But yeah, I mean, good on Jack Della Maddalena, man. I'm excited to see what the future holds for this dude. He is definitely a problem at 170.
Anybody you could think of, like, because if we're talking at the bottom of the UFC rankings at welterweight, right?
How crazy do we want to get with Jack Della Maddalena? Answer me that question.
How crazy in terms of like how far I think he can go?
No, how much does the UFC want to push this kid, right? Because if they want to push him to the moon, I think if Gilbert Burns beats Jorge Masvidal, you can do that.
What?
Like if they're trying to push him to the moon,
give him who?
Masvidal. Like if Burns beats Masvidal.
If Burns beats Masvidal, that's crazy.
And I'm just saying, if the UFC wants to really push this kid, dude. Well, because at that point Masvidal would be what, 14 in the rankings?
But what about like you're right.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you're really trying to push this kid to the top, that's the move that makes sense.
Oh, he's 11.
That's what I'm saying. He loses to Burns. He's probably barely hanging on to a ranking. 14, 15, 13 maybe.
Holy shit, dude. That would be crazy.
That's if you're
I never thought about that.
Right. I don't think the UFC does that. I don't think Jorge Masvidal accepts that fight.
No, I think... Exactly.
Yeah.
It's too much risk without any reward for Jorge Masvidal.
Yeah.
You should, in like the eyes of the public or the casuals, let's say, you should be winning that fight. If you lose that fight, you're screwed.
Yeah.
And if you win that fight, you don't really get much.
I would love to see him versus the loser of, is it Chiesa and the Leech, Li Jiangliang? Is that who's fighting?
Yep.
Yeah, I'd love to see him versus the loser of that fight.
I would definitely.
I think that's an awesome fight.
I mean, Magny?
Man, yeah, why not? But that's like, if you give him Neil Magny, that means like you're really just trying to crack him into these rankings.
Sure.
Like, and no knock against Neil Magny. I do think Jack Della beats him. He just beat a light version of Neil Magny.
Sean Brady? Not a great style matchup for him.
Not a great style matchup.
Brady,
no hands.
No hands.
Is what we saw. Maybe.
Yeah.
He might, but the UFC wouldn't be doing themselves any favors by putting that matchup together.
No, it wouldn't make sense. It's two similar kind of guys in terms. Well, Sean Brady got some of his luster taken away by the law,
but still.
Yeah.
There's no need to do that. Give him one of these older guys.
Does he beat a Wonder Boy?
No.
He gets pieced up by
He gets pieced up, man. A lot of people...
The range of strikes is different.
Yeah, and here's the thing, man. People were counting out Stephen Wonderboy Thompson as of late, and obviously we saw that Kevin Holland fight, and I'm glad you mentioned Wonderboy, because, like, I feel like everyone was like, it's over, it's done for Wonderboy. Yeah. Like, geez, dude.
No, I think he'll be a fixture right around that spot.
Until he lets go. He's old, but...
He's old.
Until he decides to go, that striking is next level. Like, we thought Kevin Holland's problem was that Kevin Holland can't grapple, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
His problem is just he
got destroyed by Wonder Boy.
There's levels to it, and Kevin Holland obviously has great power. Yeah, we love Kevin Holland. Just the time spent training those types of kicks and strikes, and the arsenal of moves is maybe second to none as far as striking goes in that weight class. So, anything else there? I mean, obviously Jack Del Maddalena is exciting. Let's see what happens.
Hope Randy Brown can kind of just get back on it and win a couple fights and get back to this position, because that wasn't him. That wasn't the Randy Brown that we're used to. But good on Jack Del Maddalena.
Yep. Yeah, I'm telling you, man. I really think he kind of like bought into the villain thing too much. I think
agree.
He was having fun with it,
Yeah.
But I think the crowd was really into it. I think he kind of like he wanted to do some OC next shit, and this is not the kind of guy you test that against.
Nope.
Anyways, moving on to the co-main event, Yair Rodriguez versus Josh Emmett for the UFC interim featherweight championship. Yair Rodriguez ended up winning this, and I'm sure you had this in a parlay, right?
Yeah.
By submission.
I didn't have by submission. Yeah, I had Yair.
Yeah. But yeah, man. A lot of random submissions on.
You know who had him by submission? Ben Askren.
What?
Yeah, Ben Askren chose him by submission. So. Whatever.
All right.
Funky Ben.
I mean, that's interesting. But yeah, man. I mean, Yair, he's so slick, man. Yeah. He's so slick. Talk about range of strikes too. There's another guy. I mean,
yeah,
man, he throws with some serious power, and we saw it in the Holloway fight. We saw it again here with Josh Emmett. He was happy to bang with Josh Emmett, and say what you will about Josh Emmett, he's got maybe the most power in the division.
Yeah.
As far as punches go, I mean, he's a little tank. I don't know how he makes 145, to be honest. I mean, actually, we've seen it. He looks not good. Looks like he's dying.
Yep.
I obviously now the next fight to make is Yair Rodriguez versus Volkanovski. I'm very excited for that fight.
Yeah.
Once it does happen, we'll see what's next. But man, Yair Rodriguez, I think, has clearly established himself at the top of this card with the Holloways.
Yeah.
With the Volks. Volk's in a class of his own at this point. But with the top of that division, man, I think he's in that tier 1. I think it's clear,
Yeah,
I would have liked to see him actually fight Ortega, obviously, and see.
Sure.
He was piecing Ortega up, man. He was piecing him up pretty good, and I know, fluky. Ortega has had previous shoulder injuries, popped out of socket, whatever.
You can't blame Yair for that.
You can't blame Yair, and I guess technically, he did it, right? But yeah, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I think Yair was just better than Emmett, which is what we thought going into this card. He hurt him really badly with a body shot immediately, and that hunched him over and kind of kept him down.
Yep.
I thought he was
really good at those.
Yeah, of course.
He loves those.
And as soon as I saw Emmett kind of drop his arms, I was like, man, he's super susceptible to the head kick here. Yair wasn't throwing it as often as I would have liked. He threw a nasty spinning one, like a heel kick. That was disgusting, but it missed. Happy for him, man. He did his thing. His whole family flew out from Mexico to Australia to witness this.
I'm very down for more Mexican fighters at the top.
He deserves it, man. Yair Rodriguez, that fight that
never has a boring fight.
No, and that war that he had with Max Holloway, which was a Fight of the Year contender last year, he lost that, and rightfully so. I think Max did win that, but he showed that that's who he's hanging with. Josh Emmett, not to throw dirt on his name, kind of flukily, if that's a word, got here.
He did.
Back-to-back robbery or very close decision wins, whatever you want to call them. Just showed that he's not on that level with Yair. Good power from Josh Emmett. He was swinging some big hooks that had me a little worried.
And credit to Yair for just going with it. He didn't back away. He just went with it. He was swinging.
He's a dog, dude. Yair is a dog, and he's reaching his prime. And pre-main event, when Yair won that fight, I was a little worried for Volkanovski. Before his fight with Islam, I was like, damn, Yair's the real deal, dude.
And I still think so hard. His kicks are they're thrown so hard
for a guy that smaller, a 145er. Yeah,
it's crazy, man.
But like I was saying,
his foot after the Holloway fight,
it was a balloon.
It was a balloon.
His foot was a balloon. But I was worried for Volk, like I said, after the Yair fight and pre-Volkanovski Islam. I was really worried for Volk, but then Volk did some things that made him look like Superman. So I don't know, and I can't wait for that fight to go down. It's going to be a banger. It's going to be a banger.
Absolutely. And then on that note, we're going to the main event.
By the way, sorry, second Mexican-born UFC champion in history.
Oh, that's right, because he is technically the champion now. Very cool. And another one, obviously, is my boy, Brandon Moreno.
Yeah, boy.
Oh, wait. Cain Velasquez wasn't Mexican?
But yeah, I don't know. They consider him American for some reason.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't know what the deal is, but...
All right, interesting. Well, shout out Cain Velasquez.
Shout out Cain. Sea level, right? Sea level Cain? Isn't that the... What's the joke? High altitude or like...
Yep, high altitude.
Yeah. Sea level Cain. That's a mythical fighter.
Yep. We're going to do a video one day covering all the mythical
we should do that.
UFC fighters. We should do that.
Look at this guy, man. We got Yuri following us. We got some big things coming up. You're coming up with video ideas on the spot.
On the spizza.
This is about to blow up.
I mean, it's coming.
Let's get it.
Moving on to the main event, of course. Islam Makhachev versus Alexander Volkanovski.
Yeah.
My goodness, man. I mean, obviously, they gave the decision to Islam.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't like that at all, personally. First of all, I am ashamed of myself for not giving Volk, not any chance.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I ate my words. I thought Islam was going to choke him out in the second or third round.
As did I.
My God, man. I mean, unbelievable, dude. The size difference in there. Volk looked pretty much the same as he does when he's fighting at featherweight, maybe a little fuller.
Yeah.
You know? Islam looked giant in there. He clearly, like a head above him, looked like the thicker fighter, too. Unbelievable, man. I mean, I hated the decision. Great fight. Give me your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we're going to get into it in our next video, which we're going to link here for you guys. So click that and, you know, see what we have to say more in depth about this fight, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was a very, very close fight. Me and you actually just rewatched it.
Yep.
Right before we got on air, just to make sure that, you know, our minds are refreshed and we weren't thinking and, you know, in any sort of way.
Bias as possible
and it's a damn close fight, man. We'll get into a round by round breakdown, I guess, in the other video. But yeah, close decision. What are you going to do? I knew once it was over that the decision was going to go to Islam Makhachev, regardless of what my thought process was. Right. It was one of those for sure. And it was like, yeah, of course. They gave it to Islam. Yeah. I knew they were going to. But, man, Volkanovski showed a couple things to us that, you know, that I didn't think we'd see. Number one, he showed the world that he was or possibly still is deserving of that number one pound for pound spot.
Still should be, because pound for pound.
Right.
If it was that close, or it could have been a draw damn near.
Right.
He's the much smaller fighter.
Exactly. And then he showed us that Islam Makhachev, there's a recipe there to beat him. Not just the
what is the recipe, though?
Not just the fluke knockout that he had received before, but what is the recipe? It's a guy that
you gotta just be this insane ass 5'5" man who's built of stone. Dude, I was fucking inspired.
I mean, yeah.
I'm sitting there inspired.
I agree.
I was jacked up, dude.
But
I was pissed that he lost, but I was so damn impressed. Like, unbelievable.
As was everyone in the MMA world.
The heart, the grit, the striking, the takedown defense.
Yeah.
The power. Dude is like a powerhouse. He's a little pit bull, man. Like, unbelievable.
He's a tank.
Unbelievable. The trash talk. I was beyond inspired. I felt like I was watching Rocky. Like, I literally felt like I was watching him.
It was something like that for sure, man. It was something like that for sure.
It's like the closest you can get to a real life version of that. And it sucks that, like, this is the greatest sport in the world to me and to you. It sucks to me that, like, the general public isn't, like, not everybody's going to see that.
Right.
I think everybody should see that.
I agree.
Every kid should see that. I think, like, the Super Bowl was just the other day, right?
Yeah.
Yesterday. I think, like, that's like so impressive, man. I feel like it should be bigger, and it's a shame that not everybody will see that. Is basically what I'm saying. But
hey, save that.
Yeah.
We're doing another video immediately after this one on that fight. We're gonna fully break it down.
Really excited.
I mean, it was an exciting fight. But yes, the decision went to Islam Makhachev. He stays on his winning streak, ends Alexander Volkanovski's winning streak. So we have an end still at lightweight. We have Volkanovski, who's now set up. We know his next move with Yair Rodriguez. That's kind of right. Supposedly, that's kind of where we are at this point at the end of this card. Next week we have a pretty boring card, if I could say so myself.
Yes.
But I like the fact that Jessica Andrade has stepped in now for Tyler Santos. For some reason, that makes it more exciting for me, even though she's lower ranked.
Yep.
Last words, last thoughts on this card before we leave it behind?
No, man. No, we'll get into the details here shortly.
Yeah.
In the meantime, like and subscribe. We hope that you watch the other video, too, that we're about to break down.
Yes. We'll have a link for you guys here or here. I don't know where they put it, but somewhere.
We'll figure that out.
Yeah.
But in any case, even if you don't, thanks for joining us. Follow us on Instagram. What's the handle?
The7 MMA on Instagram. Yiri does it. You should, too.
That's it.
That's it.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, guys. Peace.